clashing of swords and the flow of blood and the ring of shields and the carnage of war. Ah, hello. Didn't hear you come in. Welcome to another edition of World Cinema. Just ignore the telly. Today, myself, Richard and Anthony, we're watching Ichi the Killer, which is a Japanese film, one I've been meaning to watch for about 10 years, and it didn't disappoint in terms of Japanese strangeness. Where to begin with this film? It follows the organised crime syndicates in Japan, and the main character, who is sadomasochist covered in scars with a big Chelsea smile, is on the hunt for his boss, who has gone missing, and that sets up the plot for the whole film. Just this search for the boss, who likes to beat him, and so he wants to get back, so he'll beat him some more. But yeah, it also introduces this character of Ichi, this strange young man who masturbates to violence and is very strange. A lot of it revolves around sadomasochism and strange.
It's one of those films that is just strange to be perfectly fair.
Yes, it is very strange. It's got over the top violence like you might expect in some Japanese films. For instance, you see someone have their face cut off and it slides down the wall. You see blood and guts splattered around. You see a guy suspended by hooks as he is tortured with boiling fat poured over him. And you won't get straight away. I mean, we've had to have a bit of a think. I mean, you know, the Japanese films, usually you have to go into them with your eyes open, because you come out just saying, what the fuck was all that about? And this is no surprise. You don't really know what's going on if you don't pay attention, and sometimes you don't know anyway, because you... I don't know how to...
You really can't explain it. It's simply, we had that moment at the end of the film where we just sat there, looked at each other and went...
Yes, it took us about 10 minutes before we could say anything. It's very strange. I wonder how many times we've said that so far.
It's just full of rape, for one.
Yes, there's a lot of rape, a lot of watching people getting raped, a lot of thinking about helping people, but you're actually thinking of joining in on the rape, and then there's that never really happened, and it was all in your head. There's things with implanted memories, because
Like
that's a bit of a spoiler, so I won't go into it. So this Ichi the Killer is this strange kid who goes around with blades in his feet, and he cuts people up with his heels, and he is controlled by this guy who's manipulated him to the point where he thinks he's taking revenge on bullies and things and how he was mistreated, and he uses them to attack like mafia, like yakuza gangs, where he goes in and slaughters the whole lot and then runs away crying. And on the other side you've got I can't remember his name.
Kakawa, isn't it?
Kakawa.
Kakawa.
The main character guy with all the scars. He's looking for his boss, and the two eventually meet, where the main guy who's been looking for his boss or replacement, who will beat him because that's what he likes, that's what he needs. He just wants him to beat him up, and he wants him to kill him, and it's
cut him up and things like that, and it's really strange.
Weirdly weird. And
I think that's what we've come to expect now from Japanese films in general.
Well, yeah, because the other related ones we had were Tokyo Gore Police, which I'm sure we can get. John's watched that a few years ago.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
So he can ramble on about that if he wants to. You got films like Tetsuo the Iron Man, or like Body Hammer, the second one, where this guy has guns coming out of his body. I will say that Ichi the Killer was based on a manga, so that'll probably have a lot more detail and a lot more explanation, because that's probably been going on for God knows how long. So the story in the film is probably a very condensed version, and so you will watch it and you will sit there and you will. I was actually laughing like an idiot at the violence because I just thought it was over the top. It doesn't take itself seriously. One character is usually laughing all the way through it, and it's got that strange Japanese sense of humour where like people are getting the blood and guts like thrown out everywhere, and you're just giggling like an idiot. And you will just, I don't know, you will just come out of it thinking, I mean, I've had to read up on Wikipedia about the end of the story, because what we just thought was, straight away we thought, oh look, there's a goof there. Why is this happened? Oh, what's that? What's going on at the end? And then reading about it, it does make sense, but it's not immediately obvious what's happened at the end. But it's very violent, very strange. At one point you have a guy thinking, is it possible to pull someone's arm off? Right, let's try it on this guy here. You've got people pulling people's faces until they tear apart. Do you actually see that on screen?
No, you don't see that on screen.
Does it actually happen?
It does. I don't think it actually happens.
Nah.
It's just like we're going to try to see if it actually works.
Yeah, just because it's a very, I don't know. It's like a tongue-in-cheek gangster film at times, with over-the-top violence, sexual violence, and this guy who cries all the time, and this guy who wants people to beat him up all the time. And it's, yeah. I don't know what else to say about it, to be honest.
Right, just give it a rating. What would you rate it, Teg?
No, that is a hard one. It wasn't what I was expecting. I thought it was actually about a hitman type thing. I mean, he's like an enforcer guy, the main character, but he's not doing what he's doing. He's looking for his boss. I did think, there are a few ridiculous moments as well with the guy who's suddenly a bodybuilder underneath it. There's one or two dodgy
that
special
scene,
effects.
we're just looking at him like, you can really tell that's really superimposed. That's terrible.
There's a guy with a superimposed, like,
you said superimposed on like a
bodybuilder.
Japanese bodybuilder. A 5-foot tank.
Yeah, so there are a few dodgy effects like that, and I thought the pacing did seem to drop off at one point. I mean, I did find myself just thinking, God, I mean, it's a 2 hour long film, but I was sat there at times just going, God, how long is this going on for?
Yeah.
I'd probably give it a 6 or a 5. I'm not too sure. I mean, I have to have a bit more time to think about it, to be honest.
I would go with 4 myself.
4.
Personally, yeah.
4 or 5. So we say the consensus is around 5.
Yeah, we'll say the consensus at 5. Right?
Yeah.
I would say if you don't go out to try and find it or watch it, you're not missing out.
No, I mean, if you're not into it, like if you're not into foreign films or
Japanese
films, I mean, you could watch a few easier to watch Japanese films before and then get into it if you want to. But I think you have to be into the genre to be able to like really appreciate it. I mean, I like Japanese films, and I know usually you watch something Japanese and you get to the end and it's just a head fuck, and so I know what to expect. But this is just like, you sat there going like, why are the characters doing what they're doing and what's going on and who's going to come out alive and for what reason. And
Why the fuck does he put them dog ears on and sniffs the fanny then fucking...
oh yes, there's a guy who tracks down another guy by sniffing his scent on a woman, like a dog, and then he finds him across the city.
Yeah.
Because he puts on
Some dog ears.
some fluffy dog ears. Now I don't know if that's something that's just been taken straight from the manga and
Maybe.
not
It
edited
seems
to
like
make
one
it any
like
more realistic, because it is just that whole Japanese goofiness. Have I missed the film here?
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, qualities will be known for all your enemies, my friend. It's a
Yeah.
good horse.
Give us me horse back, you belly.
Yeah, well, okay, right. So we've given that, say, 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
And we'll go on to the other one that you downloaded. That we kind of just
Now
skip
I'm
through.
gonna have to read about this because I'm not sure if it's two different films or one other film that, like, I'm not sure if that was an American film with, well, yeah, with one or two Japanese actors. And
Or a Japanese film with American actors.
yeah, or I'm not sure if it was an American remake of a Japanese film. I'm not sure. I just saw it and I went, let's have a look at that and see what that's like.
We'll quickly discuss that.
Yeah, right. The film is Gun Woman. It's come out this year, I think, and I mean, I really didn't know what to expect with this one. I just thought it might be interesting.
And to be quite honest, we didn't really watch it through. We just kind of
fast
forwarded
yeah,
pretty much and stopped and played at certain parts.
The first half an hour, 40 minutes, is just these two guys driving around in a car talking about what's happening, and it's flicking to
People getting... It's basically snuff movies.
yeah, like people doing snuff films, and I don't know if these guys are tracking them down because, to be honest, we weren't paying attention.
Because it was just shit.
But the main action part of this film was this woman, this Japanese woman, has been trained by martial arts, like infiltration techniques, gunplay, and all that, and she gets a gun disassembled and put into her.
Yeah, inserted into her.
Like, she gets cut open and put in, and then makeup put over to hide the scars and stuff.
Yeah.
And
the clip's inserted quite neatly.
yes.
I'm not going into detail with that, but it's inserted.
So yeah, so she's got like the slide, the clip, and
The handle.
the handle. In various parts of her body, which you can't show. I mean, this is the chest. There's not much there, and she's got.
In fact, yeah, I'm not meaning like all Asians like flat chested, but she hasn't got very. And that's
But
another
no, but
thing.
she has an incision up here, right?
Yeah,
and there's a gun slide here, and yeah, where's the big square lump?
Yeah, I did say that one. I've seen it.
So she gets trained in martial arts techniques in order to infiltrate this place and use a gun. Yeah, she takes this guy out, and then she's completely naked. She's
Yeah.
supposed to be dead, but she's not. And she then rips open these incisions and starts pulling out this gun. And the amount of blood that comes out of it, like especially here, she's got a hand in here, and there's blood pouring out. And there's at least 2 gallons comes out, and she's going, there we go, got a gun. Right, and she assembles this gun.
Gets the other one and goes, ooh.
And she's not dead. And then she faces off against this woman who has like something like a Spas 12 shotgun or
With
something.
high-heeled boots.
Yeah,
and
with the
miniskirt.
ridiculous high heels and like body armor and nothing else. And this other woman who's just ripped herself open and pulled a gun out of her own body, and then she's covered in blood, her own blood, and she's not dead. She's not died from shock or blood loss, and she does this Max Payne Matrix style jump like that, and that's why I turned it off because I've had enough because it was crap.
Utter shite.
Yeah. Even that little moment with the gun that I saw where she ejects a gun, like she ejects a clip from a gun, pulls the slide back, ejects the thing, the slide's not locked, she drops the gun, and the next scene as it falls, it was locked open.
Yeah.
And that was possibly the first scene that we actually properly watched, and about 2 seconds in I was like, well, that's wrong.
Apart from that though, you constantly have A going. She's still naked.
Yeah,
She actually
she's
is fully
she's completely
naked.
naked.
With a
But
hairy bush.
with a gun inside her, like just after surgery, and then she tore herself open, bled to death, but didn't die. I don't know. It was crap. Just go and watch it. Gun Woman.
Yeah, that would say like 2. If that.
Well, I can't even rate it because like we didn't watch it.
Technically, we didn't. But
I mean that opening scene with that guy with the 70s porno tash and the crap music, looking like Equalizer with his big coat. I honestly thought it was in the 70s until he went outside and there was a Dodge Charger, Challenger, outside. So it was like, oh, it's modern day. And he had big, thick glasses as well. And I thought he was going to whip his tash off when he got in the car, but he didn't.
You could tell it was so fake.
But yeah, it was a fake tash. So overall, it was a crap film, and I'm going to have to do a bit of research whether that was an original film or a remake, because I don't. Am I allowed to say that?
Technically, no.
Well, we'll just edit that.
Wait, you managed to get hold of this one, and you didn't know whether it was the original or not.
Well, shut up, because I looked at the looking on IMDb, I saw it had 8 point something, so I thought, brilliant, let's try that. And then I saw it again on IMDb, and it was about 4.2. And wait a minute, what is this the same film? So I'm not sure. I don't know. I didn't like anything of what I saw.
It's literally people getting scuttled and strangled to death
Yeah.
on them clips, and it was just a bit like over emphasised, I think, for that stupid little Asian guy with the fucking neck warm wrong. Done.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
That's all them clips were though. Or
Yeah,
then
yeah.
there'll be a cadaver on a table and you go and you shag the cadaver and you're like,
that. Yeah,
really?
buzzing forward, and it was just this guy that was like killing people, and then like
shagging the dead bodies.
yeah.
Or
And
shagging
then,
them,
then
killing them.
close up to this like Japanese bloke going, or just like his face. Oh, it's finished. Yeah. Yes. So not a stellar day for world cinema.
No.
One was incredibly crap, so much that we didn't watch it, and we watched Kingdom of Heaven instead. And another was, it was all right. I liked it in a way because it was
mindless,
funny.
it's just senseless.
The senseless violence I thought was really fun, and the fact that it was like tongue in cheek, where like some of it as it happened is. Mate, you know what? I'm gonna look up the. It's gonna annoy me not knowing what the guy's called, and sure, go away settings. Internet. Da, 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 da.
I know, but we were going to have we were hoping to get a few different types. I mean, there is a lot coming out at the moment.
Yeah.
And especially with the new rec coming up and things like that.
Yeah, I mean
But
we've
we
just
actually haven't really done much Japanese cinema, in fairness. It's mainly been
we've
Korean
done, yeah,
or
we've done, like Spanish.
Russian. Yeah, we've done Korean, Russian, Spanish, Chinese. Now we've done Japanese. I recently did a review of Heatstroke, which is a South African film. So.
Do you know what we could have watched?
What?
District 9.
Yes, but you've already done a review on that.
I know, but I don't care. I love that film.
I know you do. And I don't.
Troll,
I don't like
isn't
it.
What do you mean you don't like
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You probably like Elysium.
Huh?
You probably like Elysium.
Matt Damon.
Matt
No, I thought the special effects in Elysium were alright, but that was about it. I thought the story was crap.
No, yeah, because
You know what we could have watched?
Kakihara,
Meerkat Manor.
Meerkat Manor, South Africa. Yes, I
There we
have
go,
visited series 1 to 3 of Meerkat Manor. Could have brought it, you know. I'm sure there's at least another series on there like that I haven't got. We could have watched Cass Hearn, I'm not sure how to say it. I still haven't watched that film despite owning it for at least
many years.
7, 8 years. Seriously. Well, I've still got American Pie up there somewhere, American Pie 2, and it's in its cellophane wrapper. I've never watched it. I bought it like about nearly 10 years ago, about 9 years ago, and I've never seen it. You know when like you get to the till and it's like, oh, buy this for £3 if you've spent so much on it. Oh, American Pie 2. Yeah, I like the first one. I've only ever seen American Pie.
Really?
Yeah, I've only ever seen the first one. I bought the second one. I've never watched it.
Oh, you know that's going to be. That's going to have to be a DVD day and just watch all the American Pies.
Oh, it's not in the cellophane wrapper. Well, I've never watched it. Did I lend this out? I might have actually. Yeah, it's still got the sticker on it. Yeah. So. So we've had it's an average day for world cinema. Both being, I don't know, one might have been Eastern, the other one was definitely Japanese. But yeah, we'll come up with a few more ideas. A bit more variation from around the world. I mean, we do have like a few more Japanese, Korean films lined up to do, but we've got some Spanish ones to do. Yeah. Like I say, possibly some South African ones coming.
There's actually a French one I would like to do as well.
I was thinking about French ones. I haven't seen many French films.
There's one about the Algerian soldiers during World War II, which is I've seen before, but I'd like you and Billy to watch it because it's really good.
No Man's Land.
No.
No, where's that from?
No Man's Land.
It was during the was it the Serbians?
Oh yeah, it's that's a Serbian film.
It's like on a landmine.
No, it's in a trench.
Yeah, he's lying on the landmine.
No, it's not on a landmine though. You're just in a trench, and it's a UN peacekeeper.
Yeah, because
and a Serbian soldier, and they kind of just like they've got no left, and there's just shells going off all of them. They're just like, you know what it is? I really can't bother. Can you? He's like, nah.
No, because one of them is on a mine. Because
that
happens.
This is two different films.
Because there's two of them fighting, and then the UN peacekeeper comes in. I think he's French.
Alright.
And so one of them's lying on this mine, and he can't move. And they're like, oh shit, we'll have to get bomb disposal experts in. They get these Germans in, and they come in, and they're like eventually, spoilers here. The camera's still rolling. Goes on for ages, and eventually.
It's a really long-winded film.
Yeah, and they're just trying to get this guy off, and eventually they're just like, can't do it, can't get him off. Like we can't lift him off safely without blowing up.
Mm.
And in the end, they just leave him. Like, because they go, oh, we've got him out, and like they see them carrying the stretcher off and that, and blah 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 blah, and they all drive off. And then I think it's the French peacekeeper. Yeah, he goes walking back to the trench, and the guy's like lying there, like, and they've all just left him, and it's like that's how it ends. And it's just like, shit. A film in the same vein as Itchy the Killer, I've known about it for about 13 years and I've never seen it, and I want to, and I don't know if it's going to be any good, but it's just always been in my mind. Versus. It's Japanese, I think. And it's about, I think it's a zombie film. I don't know if it's like zombies or undead warriors. It's something like that. I heard about it the same time I found out about Battle Royale, and I've never seen it. It's like the picture of it. It's like a guy. It's with his back to like the camera, and like a samurai sword on his back, like on his shoulders, and like in like a long leather coat. It's like it looks like Blade with long hair, sort of. But it was like 2000 or something like that. But yeah, I think it's like undead ancient warriors or something, possibly. I'm not sure. Anyway, so there's some ideas that we might do for world cinema. Let's say we've got other things to do. That didn't sound very good. We've got other things to do. Fuck off.
No, well, we all work for a living. We kind of do this as a bit of a hobby, I suppose.
Yeah. So we'll try and get some more things watched. Give them our honest as we can opinion. If that even made any sense. I'm just waffling on now. I'm just talking bollocks. Yeah. So.
Is that a plug there?
So we.
I fucked up, didn't it?
Shut up. So these credits go on for a while, don't they? Look.
Brazil,
Oh, no.
Italy, Korea.
Oh
Japan,
no! In all film, in all countries except. I was like, oh, look, this is a Korean film.
Oh.
So, this has been Richard with off-screen blatherings from Anthony, and this has been your World Cinema for the evening. Good night. There's nothing to watch. Good night. Dun 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 dun.